So this is Aladale, and this is the first Rainbow review. I have set myself a task to review at least one movie a week, and once I finish watching the current TV shows I'm watching, I plan on reviewing some of the TV shows that I will be watching, if that makes sense. Anyway, so the first movie that I've decided to review is the live-action Disney's remake of Mulan, and I was surprised. I have to admit, I went in disliking the movie because Mushu, big fan of Mushu, and yeah, I'm also a big fan of musicals and things like that. So having an animated movie that had a wonderful character like Mushu in there and all the singing, all the dancing, I was already disheartened that I was going to dislike this movie. What I will say is that the writing was a lot better than I was expecting, because of it being more geared to an older viewer than the original animated. And this was clear with the way that the movie itself progressed. There are quite a few fight scenes in it, which although you would expect in the animated version, I wasn't expecting as many fight scenes, as graphic as they were. I mean, it's a Disney movie, so no deaths, really. But it's like any other TV show that was geared towards the teenage population or younger, that there would be a bit of action, but there wouldn't be any actual deaths. Classic example is the A-Team. The A-Team would get into sticky situations, they would come out, not one bad guy would actually die at all. You would never see a bad guy dying. You would know that people had died, but that's moving off into a different direction because we're here to talk about Mulan. Visually stunning, but then it reminds me a lot of the old Chinese theatre and the Chinese martial arts movies that flooded the country at one stage, where the likes of Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh, Chow Yun-fat, people like that, when they were first coming over to America to start making bigger production movies, their original Chinese martial arts movies were very much like this, very fanciful, because we know that in the real world you can't do things like run across walls or jump like huge buildings and things like that. It's the sort of thing we expect from Superman or the Flash, but it adds to the fancifulness of the actual movie. The storyline itself, quite solid. It's the stereotypical storyline of its time and of its genre. It still follows along Mulan's original storyline for the most part, with the exception of things like Mushu and so on and so forth. Overall, I did enjoy this movie. It wasn't. I'm not going to put it on like my top list of movies that people need to watch before they die. I've got far too many on there already, but it is definitely one to watch, especially with the family. If you've got like younger teenage kids that might be into a little bit of martial arts, I hate to pull the gender card, but a lot of the little girls that liked the animation might also like this now, because they're going to be a bit older, so they'll understand some of the nuances a bit more. But it's another film that has a bit of girl power in it, which is okay. It's good to have some girl power. There's so many movies out there where the female lead is still tied to a male character or tied to the family. They don't have their own little box that they can utilise. Whereas in this, for the most part, she is on her own. She although she's surrounded by these people, she is still on her own. There's some great scenes in it, and there's some nods to modernising the Chinese culture and the Asian culture as a whole, to be honest with you. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It's not going to be everybody's favourite movie in the world, but I would definitely say give it a try. on the Rainbow Review scale of a 1 to 10, I would give it a solid, 7.5 to 8. So it's still quite high up there. The writing was good. The acting was good. But the acting worked with the writing as well, which is important because sometimes you can get movies that are very well written but poorly acted, and the same vice versa. You can get a really bad script that the acting is what saves it. Yeah, so I would say if you haven't watched it already, give it a try. Even if it's just on a Sunday afternoon with the kids whilst you're making dinner, still give it a try. And yeah, I think you might be surprised. But that's it for this week. These are going to be quite short videos because, well, I don't want to go into detail of the movie itself. Otherwise, I'll be spoiling it for you. And I'm trying to avoid doing any kind of spoilers for these. So yeah, enjoy, have fun, and I hope to see you next week where there'll be another movie that I'll be reviewing. I don't know which one it is going to be yet, but we will see. I might do The Help because my other half keeps on begging me to watch that. So I might watch that next week and review that one. Anyway, have fun, stay safe even, and yeah, I will see you all next week.